Good evening, everyone, and welcome back once again to Vicious Rants. And of course, I'm your host, one and only, often imitated, never duplicated, and your YouTube messiah, Tim Vicious. I am talking about Raw. Talking about Raw now. We're 2 weeks away from Money in the Bank pay-per-view, and it's honestly the Money in the Bank match itself. It's built up pretty good. A lot of good, strong competitors. I'm the guys that I got my money on. I'll get to that. Hopefully, if my brain don't wind up freaking out, brain farting on me, and I don't forget. But anyways, Raw starts off with the entire locker room standing out there on the entranceway, and then out comes Hunter and Steph, and they come down. They start talking about the importance of the match, and needing to have a champion that's willing to defend the title, in which case, all for that. And this is actually, it's kind of an interesting moment that we're in right now with WWE on that, because having no champion and having a lot of stuff going on about it. So I like on how that's being built, and not making a knock on Daniel Bryan, because I've been a Bryan supporter since day one. But the thing is, if you're physically unable to compete, you need to say, okay, here's the title. Just make sure you guys remember to put me in a match for it when I get back, But anyways, they talk about that, and then they talk about then they talk about on how they have 2 more open spots in the Money in the Bank match, so they're gonna have a battle royal later on that night to determine who else is gonna be in it, and they said that Ambrose and Reigns are not allowed to participate in the battle royal, and that Cena's not either, in which case, then I was all, yay! And then they said, but wait, John, we know you like a challenge, and then I was all, boo. So, they booked him in a match with Kane later on that night to be a stretcher match for the last qualifying spot for the Money in the Bank match. Stretcher match. Yeah. Anyways, then after that, they move to the next match. First match of the night, Ziggler and Seth Rollins. Ziggler comes out to a huge welcome home pop. Thing that always gets me with Ziggler, though, he holds nothing back and admits proudly that he's from Cleveland. And only when they're in Cleveland does he get billed from there. Any other time, he's billed from Hollywood, Florida, which, it kind of irritates me, because you might as well have yourself be billed from parts unknown, but then when you're in Detroit, say you're from Detroit, or something like that, That's just me, though, little small things, little small pet peeves I have. But that, and Seth came out, and when Seth came out, he came out, he had on his Shield gear minus the vest, in which case I'm pretty sure Ambrose was in the back filing charges for a gimmick infringement with Wrestling Court. And, by the way, WWE Network, make Wrestling Court a new show on there. Guarantee people will watch it. You can have Zeb Coulter be like the Judge Judy of it. Anyways, their match, it was pretty good. I liked it. Thing, though, that's, can't help but nag on, and like I said, and it's just, it's unoriginal. You have the same 7 guys just constantly having matches with each other. Where's the originality? Where's the difference? I mean, I understand you want to let Ziggler get the hometown pop, but why not book him in a match against someone else? Like, why not have him booked in a match with frickin' Barrett or something? and I'm not saying that they should have done that match last night, I'm just saying an example. But the thing with Rollins, but yeah, before I get on with the match, I just want to point out also earlier in the day before Raw came on, it got leaked out on the dirt sheets on why Ziggler hasn't been getting a push. And it's been the reason I've been saying for a while. And I've been preaching it on here for a while. And I know I'm not the only one that's been doing it. You know, saying that they're not giving him a push because he's a medical liability. He's concussion prone. But, you know, anytime I was saying that, everyone was all, oh no, no, no. And then now all of a sudden, because of the fact that it gets put out there on the dirt sheets, now all y'all take it seriously? Really? Sit and spin. That's all I got to say on that. Now on with the match. Yeah, the match, it was good, but it leads right into what I was just going on about with Ziggler being a liability and being concussion prone. You know, he took 2 or 3 buckle bombs into the turnbuckle, an enziguri to the head, and wound up getting a curb stomp by Rollins. You know, it does worry me seeing that because Ziggler's concussion prone. You know, I've only had a few concussions in my life, but, you know, not to say that I'm prone to them, but when I've gotten them, man, I've gotten them, and, you know, I can sympathize. Them some bucks hurt. Anyways, Seth wound up winning by DQ because Ambrose came out, and which case, I'm not really sure I could say it was Dean Ambrose because he came out with that Jon Moxley look going up for him, you know? Black wife beater, leather jacket, pair of ratty jeans, looking more like a CZW wrestler than a WWE wrestler. In which case, good job. Good job. We need something different. You know, Ambrose came out, started wailing on Rollins, and, yeah, next thing you know, Hunter got up on the Tron, saying, Dean, no need to get all crazy like. I know you want Rollins, but... And then he did quite possibly the worst Wade Barrett impression ever, and I'm pretty sure he did that on purpose. Doing, well, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. And then out comes Bad News Barrett, and then they book a match between Barrett and Ambrose, and that starts up right there, and that one was on... That one, you know, the second they said that they were booking that, all I could think is they're booking Ambrose versus Wade Barrett. Thank you, God! Which, and did not disappoint. That was a beautiful match. Very, you know, it was just beautiful to see, you know. It was very, very hard-hitting. You know, it was a very hard-hitting fist kind of brawl style, which I absolutely loved, you know, because, you know, I know they incorporated the whole bare-knuckle brawler thing into Barrett before, but, you know, seeing the way, aside from the bare-knuckle boxing thing, you know, Barrett, he was just going straight up. He was using his size and his build to his advantage, especially with the way, you know, Ambrose, he was up on the corner, he was sitting up on the turnbuckle. He was trying to counter Barrett from doing something to him. Then next thing you know, Barrett just pushes him over and he lands. And boom! He took a bump on the apron that looked like one of those coming to Jesus meetings. You know, and you know, there are a few kind of bumps that are like a coming to Jesus meeting. That one looked like one of them. But he sold it good, you know, was playing on the shoulder hurting. You know, whether it was real or not, don't know, but, you know, I'm pretty sure it wasn't, considering on how we went at it later in the match. But it was phenomenal. Anyways, Seth wound up coming back out, standing on the table, was taunting Ambrose, come on, come on, come on. Ambrose jumped out of the ring, started going at him. Next thing you know, started brawling with him out in the crowd, got counted out. Barrett won by DQ. He came back in the ring, beat up Barrett, and then, boom, headlock driver. Walked out, heard new music for him, in which case, him getting his own music means the Shield's really done now. wasn't ready for this. Okay, now I'm ready. Moving on. Next matchup, it was Sheamus versus Bray Wyatt. Now, before that, Wyatt cut a promo talking about power, and at Money in the Bank, he's gonna win the titles and claim his power, just like his boys are gonna beat the Usos and claim theirs with the tag team championships. Which case, I definitely see Rowan and Harper winning the titles. Bray, not so much. And the reason on why is not because himself, but his character is still too new in the WWE. Bray Wyatt character is still too new on the main roster and hasn't really showed like that character is really ready for that title. But anyways, the Sheamus Bray Wyatt match, it was pretty good. I liked it. I got annoyed like all hell when right out of nowhere when Rowan and Harper started creeping along near Sheamus. Next thing you know, Usos come out and then they just stand next to Sheamus. They're like, ah, ah, ah. And dude, really? Like I said, I don't like the Usos, and I'm not knocking them on the tag team because they're a good tag team, and this is coming from a tag team guy. It's just they haven't done anything that wowed me, I mean, y'all can do a couple super kicks, super fly splash, and an over the rope dive to the outside. What else you got? Anyways, Sheamus got the win by DQ. He went to go for the brogue. Rowan and Harper caught him in the corner. It's that big hoopla. Next thing you know, Usos went to go fight with them, and they were all going at it. Wyatt's had them down for a bit. Next thing you know, Sheamus went up. Next thing you know, not Sheamus. There you go. See, brain fart. Next thing you know, Rowan and Harper, they had the ladder. They were getting ready to go and clothesline the Usos with it. They did a super kick to them. They rolled out the ring. And quite possibly the worst catapult ever. The one Uso 2 went and ran off the ladder and tried to do like Sabu, using a tool to jump to the outside, and it was Because you see, he's got the running start, and then he stops right in front of the ladder and is like, oh, make sure I hit this peg, and then this peg, and then this peg. Dude. Next match, it was quite possibly, like I said, one of my favorite parts of Raw now. Lana! Lana. Lana came out. Oh, and she brought Rusev out with him. And his match was with Slater, which case, he's now back to being a one-man band. Which case, also, if he's a one-man band, does that mean he's gonna have to do a sexual harassment seminar if he goes to tune himself up? Anyways, very interesting thing right before that, talked about with, Lana did her propaganda thing, and then Rusev, he got on the stick, started talking, he said, resistance is futile, which case made me think, wait, is Rusev going Borg? Like from Star Trek? Never mind. Kids these days, they wouldn't get it. But, yeah, they're doing the normal anti-US propaganda stuff. And then next thing you know, Slater grabs the mic and says, oh, I hear y'all always talking about on how Russia's greater, Russia's this, Russia's that. If you don't like this country so much, why don't you leave it? In which case, that was pretty right on par with, and I've been talking to a couple people on this. idea for a fantasy book, and what they could do after Money in the Bank. What they do, Sheamus drops the U.S. title to Rusev. Rusev has it, starts going on how he's better and all this, that, and the other. Then next thing you know, Zeb and Swagger come in and talk about on how a real American should be the U.S. champ, and then they go after him, and then they win the title, you know, and they can make a story off of that. Can work, you know. Not only that, it would put the title, it would put quite possibly what would probably be considered the third tier title in a legitimate feud, you know? Kind of like on how the European title was for a while between D'Lo and Pac. But anyways, next matchup, it was mixed tag match. It was Finn. I'm gonna say that my girlfriend got doused in milk, but it was probably the money shot of the week. And Layla versus Summer Rae and Adam Rose. Which case, not gonna lie, not saying I'm a rosebud, not saying I'm a lemon either, but I'm definitely down with Bunny. That much I will say. You know, wait until I'm going to SmackDown. Hopefully Rose will be there. If he is, that's on when I'm going to give my final say, because I want to see on if I can, because I want to see from there. But the match, it was especially with Kevin Hart on commentary. Just yeah, I don't see on why people like him. Apparently people like small black men that attempt to be funny. Not me, though. Yeah. If anything, I thought it would have been really good if Rusev would have wound up taking him out, because then not only would he gotten the I'm taking out celebrities heat, then he would have gone, then I would have fallen over laughing, because then he would have gone back to I'm beating up black guys thing. But anyways, the Finn Shamalama Ding Dong and Rose and Adam Rose match, and yeah, if you can call it that, it was Layla and Summer Rae. They started doing the cat fight thing, and then they ran to the back. Finn, whatchamacallit, was looking like, what? Next thing you know, Rose grabbed him, boom, party foul, got the 1, 2, 3. Next thing you know, pulled Kevin Hart up and started doing the party thing. That was that for that match. Next match, it was the Battle Royal, and which case, first off, Bo Dallas was in it, and I fell over. I was like, oh my god, what if Bo won? What if Bo wins? Dude, because that would have definitely, even just if he won the Battle Royal, he doesn't have to win the Money in the Bank match, but that would just definitely put his character over. And I mean over. You know? Because next year you got him saying, I'm going to win this match because I believe, and all. You know, and like I said, I love Bo Dallas because he's got that gimmick that he's that character that you just love to hate. You know? Anyways, also surprise entry for the Rumble was Roman Reigns, and that came to be because Roman spiked Steph's coffee, and Hunter and Tripp put Vicky in charge, and Vicky said, you know what, Roman, you're in the Rumble. Now leave me alone. I need to shower and wash this puke off me. And yeah, the Battle Royal, it was pretty good, you know. Reigns wound up winning. Can't really call too much on a Battle Royal because you got so much going on everywhere. It's like a one big giant cluster muck. You can't focus on one thing for too long. Saw Bo and Wade Barrett teaming up for a bit, which I thought was kind of comical because right after they eliminated someone, Bo went over to Barrett, was like, hey, you did good, you did good, you did good. You know, like his normal thing, and then, excuse me, next year Barrett tossed him over. Last two was Rusev and Reigns, which was really impressive because Rusev, you know, seeing a huge 300+ pounder going into the air, doing a spinning, doing a back heel kick. That was impressive. Also, Reigns showing his range, you know, on how he can work with big guys like that, you know. And Reigns eliminated Roman, Reigns eliminated Roman. Fuck! Reigns eliminated Rusev. Too many R's. He eliminated Rusev. Rusev was on the apron, and Roman just went up. Wham! Superman punched him. Next, you know, he was like, oh, and then fell down. So Reigns won, and that's it. So he's definitely in the match. Next matchup, it was an ST Divas match. Because, you know, everyone's cramming to see the women's matches, right? Right? Yeah. Cameron versus Paige, and yeah. Paige was pretty much dominating most of the match, which was actually a slight twist compared to on how she's been booked. You know, getting booked like Cena to where she's being dominated for 90% of the match. Anyways, Paige won. What a shock. And yeah. Next matchup, main event of the night. Cena and Kane, stretcher match. It was pretty alright, you know, I mean, of course everyone knew who was going to win this match, especially considering, you know, one, it's a gimmick match, and two, they were highlighting this the first stretcher match Raw's had in a couple years, and three, they also emphasized this as Cena's first stretcher match. Yeah. Anyways, it was pretty okay, you know, I mean, nothing to write home about, but, yeah, it was, Cena wound up getting the win. It wasn't that really big of a shock, you know, especially considering, you know, vacant title. Oh, well, obviously we'll throw Cena in the mix, you know, and honestly, Cena has been in the title picture for far too long now. We need some new blood, you know? And Money in the Bank predictions. The winners, smart money is on Cena or Orton because they're the past champions. So, they're the smart money. You know, dark horses on who we think would win that aren't champions, Cesaro or Reigns. You know, in which case also, random thought that just popped in my head, wouldn't it be really freaking great if wound up seeing Cesaro do the Cesaro swing with a ladder taking everyone out? That would be really cool to see. That's what I'm hoping, but not saying I'm hoping for it, but really like to see him go to town and really steal the show on there. Anyways, that's all the time for this week's episode. So like I always tell y'all, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch all the other episodes. Look for me on Twitter at TimVicious. Make sure y'all look for my backup account, Tim_Vicious. You know, I get put in Twitter jail every now and then. It's been a while, so I must be doing something right, or in my case wrong, because I haven't pissed anyone off enough to say, oh, this account needs to be suspended, or whatever. Yeah, whatever, yo chump. Anyways, also make sure y'all follow these cool ass cats right here on Twitter. James Belmont JX2001. That Roxy Girl, Vicky Earls. Vicky's got her own YouTube channel. Make sure y'all check them out. I am Danny Sunday, Monkey Mars, Helen Robinson, 82, Axel Mulligan. Also make sure y'all check out Axel's YouTube show, Axel's Analysis, talking about NXT. You know, the man, hands down, quite possibly one of the most educated fans I have ever had the courtesy to have a conversation with. Always a pleasure to talk to. Sunday Segue. Kenny, can't wait to be back on the show again, brother. Sinfully Sabrina, Cranky Grandpa, Legion Lady Aaron, Oliver Ben, and Just a Stupid Mark. Also, make sure y'all check out Ollie Ben and Masked Mark's TNA Turnaround. Alright, and like I always tell y'all, you love me great, you hate me. Fuck yous.